Our next presenter is Sarah Myers, who is a fourth year PhD student in psychology. Sarah knew they wanted to study learning and memory when they realized they wanted to help students succeed in college. And with their degree, they hope to continue helping college students through their research, teaching, and mentoring. The presentation title here is Should Students Create Their Own Practice Tests?
I'll start off by apologizing. I will be talking about tests today. I'm sure hearing about testing makes some of you groan, and I can definitely relate. However, testing has some benefits that many of us aren't aware of. Most of us see testing as a somewhat painful way to measure what we've learned, but testing also improves learning on top of just measuring learning. In fact, taking a test is one of the most beneficial strategies we know of to strengthen and retain our memories for what we've learned. Researchers aware of the benefits of testing have now been trying to share that knowledge with students. We often recommend that students test themselves while they're studying because testing is so good for learning. The problem is that most research on testing has occurred in lab settings. So this research doesn't always look the same as how students would test themselves in the real world. As one difference, almost every study on testing has given students a list of practice test questions to answer. That means that so far, we only know that students benefit from testing when they answer provided questions. However, students are not given practice test questions for all of their college courses. So what should students do if they wanted to test themselves but weren't given a practice test? Well, one option that students take is to write their own practice test. But we don't yet have any experimental evidence showing that students still benefit from testing when they write their own test questions. In our study, we attempted to provide this evidence. Unfortunately, we found that students did not benefit from testing when they answered their own practice test questions. This seemed to have occurred because students weren't able to identify the most important information to target in their questions. This actually makes sense because students aren't experts in what they're studying, so it's difficult for them to choose what information they should focus on in their questions. People with more knowledge in the topic, particularly instructors, are much more capable of identifying what information is most important and should be in test questions. Overall, our findings suggest that we can't just tell students to test themselves and leave it at that. Instead, it is extremely important for instructors to provide students with practice test materials. I know that's a big ask for instructors who already do so much to help students learn. However, given how beneficial testing is to allow students to retain the information they're learning, providing students with practice tests that will allow them to actually benefit from testing themselves will be worth the time. Thank you very much.